Hey guys, so today I wanted to talk about why you have to play the game that matches your personality, not the one that society is, kind of moving towards where you think that that's where the biggest results are going to come from. Like, let's say, for example, you see a lot of people that are streaming right now. A lot of people are doing streams, and you say to yourself, hey, well, it's quick money. I think I can get on the stream. I think I can get some followers. But even though I'm not really that kind of a person, I'm going to go and do streaming. And that's actually the quickest way to burning yourself out, not having any results and running in a hamster wheel. You're trying to, figure out different ways on how you can make income, but you're running on this hamster wheel where it's just you try something, doesn't work, you try something, doesn't work. That's because you're playing the game against yourself. What you should do is figure out, okay, hey, I don't really like streaming, but what I can do is create content. Or, hey, I don't really like content and streaming, but what I can do is I can send email newsletters to, my customers, and I can add my personality in the email newsletters. And, I have 50,000 people opening up these email newsletters every single time. And out of those 50,000 people, people are purchasing products, they're seeing my personality, I'm interacting with them through email, and everything's great. So you have to find something that matches your personality. That's when you have to kind of dive deep and see what kind of person, you are. Are you a laid back person? Do you just like, are you kind of behind the scenes? That's the same thing even like when it goes into the music industry. You have guys like Jermaine Dupri, and he sees that I'm not a singer. That's what he says. I'm not a singer. I don't rap. I don't do all this stuff. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make somebody else popular. I'm a great writer. I'm a great musician. I can do a piano, all these different things. And what did Jermaine Dupri do? Well, he put Bow Wow in front. He put TLC in front. He put all these different people that Mariah Carey, all these people Jermaine Dupri wrote their music for, and he just played the behind the scenes. He was behind the scenes. Nobody really knew him as much as they did these people because he knew that was his role. And that's also why you kind of have to figure out what your personality is, and you have to match your personality with what suits best. And when you can do that, that's when the work is going to feel effortless. That's when the work is going to the income's going to come. That's also when you're not going to have any burnout. You might find yourself burning out quick. And this doesn't also apply to like work or like 9 to 5 jobs. This mostly applies to your entrepreneurial hustles or your side hustles. You might find yourself burning out quick with that because you're not doing something that you actually fits your personality. Find a side hustle, find something that matches what you do. It could be a podcast, it could be a blog, it could be content, it could be just running a business. Maybe you just want parts in another business where you can just be a CEO, where you can just kind of manage the day-to-day business, and just kind of get all the teams together, do some meetings, see how the finance department is doing, see how the marketing department is doing, the sales department. And you just like managing things. You like talking to people, you like sales, you like walking around. You don't even care if you get rejections, you just care about the sale. You just want to continue to talk to people, try and sell something. Your goal is to sell something at least twice within the day, and you don't care about the rejections. You're having fun. You're knocking on doors. You're driving around. You're drinking coffee, having lunch, going out to dinners with clients. Discussing the sales, the product. You're pitching products. That might be something that aligns with your personality. If you're outgoing, maybe you should get a sales job and get one that's off commission, because that's where you're gonna shine. Maybe what you're doing right now, maybe you might be working at a warehouse job, but that's not you. That's not your personality. Find a sales job. Or if you're into the internet stuff, you're into computers, you're working at some other, doing something that's completely nothing related to computers or something else. Find a computer job. Find one where you can actually go on the computer all day long and work on the computer because you're so good at computers. You need to find something that matches your personality. Find a side hustle that matches your personality. Don't try and find something because of the money, because you're just going to lead to burning yourself out and just tired and stressed. Find something that matches your personality, guys. If you have any advice for anyone, leave it in the comments below, subscribe, like, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.